It's time now for the late news, after which the Reverend Ian Scott will conduct the epilogue.
Good evening. With the final result in yesterday's election to hand, politicians have expressed mixed feelings about the outcome. The government says it will press on with the new formula, and the groups opposed to the new constitution claim the 29.5% poll represents a failure. The Labour Party took 76 out of 80 seats in a landslide victory. The PCP won 1, and 2 went to independent candidates, while a by-election is to be held at Bosmont, where Freedom Party leader Arthur Boyton's tied with a Labour candidate. Andre Leroux sums up the situation.
While the percentage poll is considered satisfactory by the government and leaders of the participating parties, those who advocated a stay-away vote, orchestrated by amongst others the United Democratic Front, are claiming a moral victory. A UDF spokesman says the poll indicates that the majority of eligible voters backed the stay-away call. We asked the leaders of the coloured parties for their reactions.
The fact that people voted yesterday shows that our people have made up their minds that they're not going to stand still where they are. They're tired of standing on the sidelines. They want to get involved. And the question of low percentage poll, therefore, is relevant only to the Cape Peninsula situation.
What about your future, and what about the party's future?
I have various options. I can go back to my work as an insurance consultant, which I love very much. Or, alternatively, my party, now being the opposition, is entitled to 3 seats in the President's Council. I might exercise that option. I just want time to rest and think about it.
We still have a role to play. We couldn't play to our fullest because we were caught at a bad time, and it must also remember that the colored people just emerged out of a political vacuum of nearly 10 years.
We have not come together yet. It's too soon after the elections for us to meet, but we will meet soon. My executive and the candidates who were unsuccessful, and decide what form of action we'll take, but definitely not throwing the towel in.
In his reaction, the Prime Minister, Mr. P.W. Botha, said that while some voters had acted responsibly, others, like those in the Cape Peninsula, had nothing but revolution and violence to offer. When action was taken against their ringleaders, they had reacted by shouting to the high heavens. Mr. Botha said he believed a number of coloureds were not yet interested in exercising political rights, and therefore the leaders under the new dispensation will have an educational role in ripening people for constitutional democracy. In other reaction, the leader of the opposition, Dr. Frederick van Sou-Slabbert, says the overall impression is that the election has not been an inspiring or convincing mandate for the new constitution. He has pointed out that in some instances, candidates had become fully fledged members of parliament with less than 10% of the registered persons voting.
An international maritime fraud investigator has cleared South Africa of responsibility for the Salem oil tanker scandal, in which a ship was scuttled off West Africa after illegally offloading oil in Durban. The Salem affair came under the spotlight at a symposium in Johannesburg today, with the South African position being explained publicly for the first time. The senior general manager of Sasol, Dr. Dirk Mostert, said South Africa had been very vulnerable at the time. The matter now needed to be put in perspective. Rusty van Druten sums up today's events.
Today's seminar at the Johannesburg Chamber of Commerce on the prevention and control of maritime fraud was the very first occasion here in South Africa that the subject has been thrashed out on a fully organised basis. Attending the meeting were representatives from many major shipping companies, international insurers, and also, as the main speaker, the man who was at the helm of the British police force at the time of the Salem affair, former Chief Constable Mr. Eric Ellen, who is now the director of the International Maritime Bureau. The revelations or explanations made by Dr. Mostert at today's seminar are of particular interest to Mr. Ellen, as he has always considered South Africa's part in the affair